Now they have 3D, no, it's meta paintings that you can get for like 500 and then be 5,000.
That shit crazy.
Yeah. I know somebody that, one of my clients that had their kid was 13, bought a $500 painting, saved their money on Meta, and it equals 5,000 now.
That's crazy.
So yeah, there's no age for financial advisor. It just depends on where you're trying to go and what do you want for yourself.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Jay. I have another special guest in the building. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself.
My name is Aisha. I am the owner and founder of Queen's Connections.
Okay, for everybody that don't know out there, explain what Queen's Connection is.
Queen's Connections is a financial consultant business. So I have a variety of things that I do. I go from taxes, credit repair, notary services. I also added bookkeeping for clients that need that. And I also have like consulting if you just have questions about anything dealing with financial. I write grants. I also do promotions for different programs that are out here for like funding. So those are just the little things that I do, and I'm trying to add on more things as I go through.
So you're a one-stop shop for the bread.
Most definitely.
What made you want to get into, the finance department or the finance career, the finance lane?
Well, I just want to say our culture is very slim with knowing about finances. We know how to get it every other way, but the right way, you know? And so with that being said, I just want us to have financial freedom. And what I mean by that is just to find ways to let our people know that there's ways that you can get 20, 50, 100, 200,000, $1 million if you just do things the right way and set things up. And I'm one of the ones that didn't know, and credit was bad and, just didn't know financial literacy. And you see everybody on TVs and on social medias and they got all those fancy things, but how? Right. So I just wanted to spread it to different young men and women to let them know.
You spoke on your credit being bad. What was like the first step you took to, changing that around?
The first thing was I did a lot of research. I like to read and I like to understand things. Because when I learn something, I can give that tool to somebody else. So my credit was literally 430 starting off, but now I'm at the 700s. So that's pretty good for me.
So give us a quick breakdown on how somebody can go from the 400s to the 700s.
First thing I will go off of is basically making sure that all your information is right on the credit bureaus. Make sure that all the addresses, they take all those old addresses off. Call the credit bureaus. Just tell them, I don't stay at these addresses no more. Get all that old information off because you're just making a lengthy record for no reason. You don't live there no longer. There's no use for it. So those is one of the tactics that I use. I also, I just use 609 letters. That's something else. It's just like basically what information do people have that say they have your credit information and that you had these accounts. Sometimes people have the accounts, sometimes they don't. It's a lot of footwork, but with my help or just like I said, a consultant or do-it-yourself credit repair, you can learn how to get your credit from a 430, 700 to 800s.
Now, I've been the victim of this probably 2-3 times, but I was uneducated. I didn't know. I had collection people calling me, sending me letters, and I actually paid a couple collections off. But I don't have to do that, right?
You don't have to do that. Basically, I thought that in the beginning too. So you're not the only one. There's a lot of people that think that you got to just pay everything off, and then sometimes you pay it off, and then they still won't take it off.
Right.
Sometimes something else that people don't know is that you pay these debts off, but they be double dipping. And what I mean by double dipping is they'll get their money from the IRS, just say a credit card company or something, saying they write it off as a bad debt. And when they file their taxes, because everybody have to file taxes, they'll write it off as a bad debt, and they'll still get money for that. And then they'll come back and get money for you. So if you find that out, just asking them, okay, if it's paid off or what you got to do, and then it's paid off already, they're going to see that they already paid that debt, and they can get in trouble for those things.
I heard that you can sue for it's something about like the Consumer Report. Like they can't put certain things on your credit report without first letting you know that it's going on your credit report or something like that.
Yeah, it's some truth to it. It depends on the company. It depends on the company and what type of charge it is, because it's a different type of things on your credit. It can be as a charge off. Charge off is when they charge it off because they're getting paid for that debt.
All right.
So that's where they get the money for it. Another thing that a lot of people, they get credit cards and stuff, they get excited. What I want people to really understand is, just say you got a $1,000 credit card. You shouldn't spend no more than $300 on that credit card. But you can though. You got 30 days to pay that back. So just say you need the $1,000 to pay your rent and stuff. You got that $1,000. What you need to do is, if you need to spend it, go ahead and spend it. But you need to pay it back before that closing date.
All right.
So one of my credit cards is due on the 16th, but it closed on the 19th. So from the 16th to the 19th, I don't use that card, and I make sure I pay it on the 16th. And from the 16th to the 19th, I don't use it, and it's going to report as paid. But then on the 20th, I max it back out all again. So you have that whole $1,000 to use.
All right, now, personal credit and business credit. Now, my personal credit, every time I get every time I've applied for a personal credit card, they usually just give me like $300 to start off. But when I applied for my first ever business card, they gave me $4,000, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why are they so just frugal with just giving you money for the business and not personal?
You got to look at it. A business, they think gonna make more money. Anything with business, they're gonna charge more. Just like if you get a business internet, it's $150 just for the internet. But if you get it personally, it's gonna be $30 because they're just thinking automatically. If you have a business, it's just, I think, like a thought of it. You got a business, so you got money. You need more money. That'll be a joke if they give you $300 for a business. What can you do with that?
Right.
Personally, just for yourself, that's a little bit more manageable, just to see how disciplined you are. So
now I don't know if we still in the pandemic or not. I'm gonna just say we not. But when the pandemic first started, I had someone tell me like, man, I know somebody, they can get you this PPP loan. It's $20,000 loan. And I went and sat with her, and I talked to her, and I was asking her questions, and she couldn't answer the questions that I needed her to answer. Maybe because it was still young, or maybe she just was uneducated on it. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't take advantage of the PP loan because I didn't understand it.
Right.
You feel me? Would you, for everybody that did take advantage of it, do you think it was smart for them to do, because a lot of them didn't use it for business?
Everybody probably got their different perspectives, but my perspective of it is, if you was a business, you needed that funding, it's out there for you. It's a program now, ERC. If you have a business, they want businesses to get back off the ground. But I would recommend, if you're going to do that, you need to sit with someone that is professional. If you just got somebody on the street, yeah, man, I can hook you up with 20,000, give me 5 or 10. You know what I'm saying?
She wanted a couple bucks too. I'm like, what? And I gotta pay this back?
Yeah, but if it was done the right way and you have a structured business, you take the opportunity. Okay. Take the opportunity to I just think you should sit with a professional. But sometimes professionals try to get over it. Just think a percentage, what you think is reasonable. Do your research on whoever you have in doing your financial, their background. What all do you know about finances? What like PPP, it was new. PPP's new, ERC's new, taxes 7202, like the COVID sick relief that everybody was getting 30,000. It was legal. It's just that people is new, so people was like the unknown, didn't know nothing much about it. but take the opportunity.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
wish
once
I
the
would
opportunity
have.
is presented to yourself, just go ahead and take it.
Immediately kicked myself like, man, I should have did it. You know.
Well, it's other opportunities now, like the ERC credit is $26,000 per employee that you have. You have to be W-2, and there's going to be other opportunities. I mean, we never know what will happen. A lot of people are still dwelling on PPP. If you took that chance and you did it and you did what you had to, great. If you had the money and you messed over it, you can't keep beating yourself up about spoiled milk. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? Just take another opportunity and build yourself up, because it's still always, like I said, build your business credit up. Now that you got your business, you can get hundreds of thousands by doing that. You got to just learn the game.
Yeah. Now, you said you write grants or you help write them.
I write grants. I had took a class. I actually went to college and learned how to write grants. Everything they don't teach you in middle school and high school, I wanted to take advantage. I went to school for several different things, but then I went for business, and they taught me about taxes. They taught me about, bookkeeping and ledgers and just different things that I think it should be in elementary schools all the way up to high school.
Now, writing a grant, I got a homegirl, she runs a nonprofit, and I watched her write a grant. It takes a long time to write a grant. Like, do you have any shortcuts, or like you say, everything you should consult a professional?
I wouldn't say it's a shortcut. It's just different programs. It's just like you have to get a SAMS numbers. It's a lot of different like financial things that you probably won't know. It's different languages for everything.
Yeah.
Just like with being on here, it's like something if you say creator contour, I wouldn't know what you're talking about, but that's your language. It's my language of, a 503 profit or just different organizations, a LLC. You do need certain criteria and things. They're making it a little bit harder to write grants. But I mean, if you sit with somebody, most definitely, because if you're going to apply for a grant, you can do it on your own, but I always say seek a professional so you can get it done, or you can do trials and tribulation, because grants only stay open sometimes for the short period of time. It can't be done.
All right, now we jump right into the money. Usually I start off asking people where they from. So where are you from?
That's a tricky question. I want to say that because it's funny. My fiance, he said wherever high school you go to, that's where you from.
Kind of facts.
So I just when I was on my way here, I'm like, what I'm gonna say when he asked me where I'm from. So majority of my high school, I came from Davenport, Iowa. Okay. So you can say I'm from there, but I was born in Chicago and I've been back and forth. So right. I'm special. So I got a little bit of both.
So you kind of put most of your time in Iowa?
No, we ain't going to say all that now.
Your teenage years?
That's what matters. So, yeah. So Davenport is majority of where I came from.
What experiences would you say that you learned from, growing up in Iowa compared to being back and forth with Chicago?
It's different experiences. I would say it's more slow of a pace. I would say that they have programs and things to help people. Also, they were not established at all, like with buildings and like different programs and stuff. They're still building there. Chicago was more of a fast pace. They have more unity things. I see Lori Lightfoot is doing a lot of things. The mayor's giving away a lot of things. So Iowa is basically behind, if you would want to say, that I learned a lot more in Chicago.
When you was a little kid, what was something that you wanted to be growing up?
I wanted to be so much. I went to college to be a funeral director. I wanted to be.
Right I say that's different right there.
I'm always unique, always on the edge type of person. I don't never want to be someone that want to do what everybody else do. I don't want to congratulate for everybody that's a nurse or that's doing hair, but I always wanted to do something different. Because that's another thing that I see is wrong with us as a culture. I feel we need more our own grocery store. I feel we need, like you said, more financial. I feel we need more of our own doctor's offices. I feel we need our own, like you said, funeral homes, just different things that we can just call our own.
Yeah.
Everybody else have their own grocery stores or urgent care and things like that. I just want to broadcast different things, and that's another reason why I went to financial, so I can help people do things besides the basics. But I don't knock nobody that do hair or makeup and things like that, because that's needed too.
Facts.
So
It's a lot of people that complain about those things, but it's rare that people actually put the action in motion to try to change those things. And I think that's where the change actually starts at. Like you say, you saw something that you wanted to do and you jumped into it to change the perspective on it. Mm-hmm. And I respect that, because like I say, a lot of people don't get started on it. They just they procrastinate about it. They say they're gonna do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never come. They look up 10 years from now. Now it's like, man,
and
it's
time
too late.
just pass you by.
Facts.
And then like people be like, I ain't going to school to be no doctor, or I ain't going to school to be no nurse practitioner or do none of that. But what time ain't doing but nothing but passing us by anyways.
For real.
And then I'm gonna pinpoint it again. I want to be thankful for like I said, my fiance, because he gave me a different aspect of how life is. It's like you got to get on the board, utilize it as monopoly. If you don't get on the board, then a monopoly, you know how you buy the houses, and you if you don't do right, you're gonna go to jail, or you might pass go sometimes and come up with some extra little money here and there, but you still gotta do what you gotta do. You want to be on Park Avenue, or you want to be on the other side, where you got low housing. It's up to you and what opportunities that you present yourself, and I just want to try to make some type of change.
I saw this study. I want to say it said by 2050, that black people are basically gonna be down to zero, income. Like, what are some ways now that we can take control of our financial freedom and, avoid that pitfall that's already set in stone for us?
The biggest thing I would say is unity. We don't have unity at all as the man with the woman or friends. It's like, it's goofy nowadays if you put trust into people. I didn't have people accuse me because the IRS this year is getting what's owed to them this year. So people getting a lot of their taxes from 2013 to 2022. If you owe the IRS, they taking their money back. Oh, you a scammer. You took this money, but you gave me all your information, Right. So basically it's unity. But if somebody else tell you something else, then if a white person, and I'm not prejudiced by far, a white person or a Mexican person tell you it's okay, but it's a black person scamming. It just needs to be more unity and build our own community, our own structure, because the most money comes from us.
Yeah.
Most money comes from us because, like, everybody got the restaurants and different things. We're going to spend our money. We're going to spend it, and then it goes back to them, just like with banks. I just seen something on TikTok that made sense. It's churches, and they put money into these churches, and then they go put it into the bank, and the money just got the money sitting there. And then what they gonna do? You gotta have a good credit score to even get the loan.
Yeah.
And then we stressing, and then when we get to the good credit, we don't know what we gotta do because we steady trying to get where we need to be at. So it's just a constantly back and forth tackle of trying to have unity and to be as one, and just everybody be on one accord to be from the lowest to even the highest.
One thing that I learned was having a savings account is not necessarily the way to build your money. Once I started investing in the stock market, and I used to work for Comcast, and one cool thing about Comcast, from day one, they enroll you in a 401k plan. Now, everybody got their own thing to say about the 401k, but it helped me, to the point where I am now, where they fired me. I lost my job in like 2018, and I just been figuring it out ever since, But majority of that was based on me having a 401k account that just build up, and me, they was matching 4%. So they taking 4% out of my check and they matching that 4%. So it slowly builded up over time, And I was like, man, if I would have put that same amount of money into the bank, it probably would have grew like 0.2%,
And that's exactly, you wouldn't have seen near as much money. Roth IRAs, they're different than 401ks. That's also great too, because When you have a 401k, the difference is that when you ready to take that money out before you are a certain age, because that's for when you get older.
Yeah.
You know, if you take the money out ahead of time, just say you took it out now at your age, and it's not time to take it out, what they're going to do is they're going to tax you. Everything is taxes. They're going to take the money up front. But if you get a Roth IRA, the difference is before you even put money in there, they're going to take the taxes out. So if you withdraw early from that, you get your money, just the amount of money that you put in and what they had added on top of that.
All right, now you speaking on taxes a lot. Like, what's the correct way to file your taxes? Because now I see, I want to say, I can't remember which one, but usually it'll be like, man, you file your taxes yourself with, what is it?
There's a lot of different ones. TurboTax, free tax USA.
And, damn, I can't think of the other one, man. They're a big tax company.
Tax Hack.
No, not Tax Hack.
Tax Slayer.
They green. The
Cash
logo
App?
green. Nah, the logo green I can't think of their name. But they been running a lot of commercials like, man,
H&R Block?
H&R Block.
Okay.
They like,
Jackson Hewitt, yeah.
bro, stop doing your taxes yourself. Bring it to the professionals.
Yeah.
Why do you think they running with that now when it was always you can go online, file yourself? Now they want you to bring it into the tax professionals.
That's a good question, actually. It really just depends on the person, but my perspective of it is people lose out on a lot of money. Yes, you're paying less to have a professional, for you to do it yourself than a professional, right? But you probably missing out on a lot of tax breaks. Just like you probably didn't know that you can file, your 401k account on your taxes. Mm-mm. You probably didn't know, that there's other credits that you can get in deductions. So it is better to seek a professional. Just make sure you're doing everything right.
All right, for the people that want to get in tune with you and want to find you, like, do you teach classes or is it like a one-on-one consultation that they could book with you?
That's something that I'm looking forward to next year, is just growing and to also do that, because some people don't want to do a professional because there's so much fraud and identity theft and things going on. People just want to learn how to do it for their own self, or even start their own tax firm and do their own tax business. And I am looking forward next year of having a lot of great things for my tax clients or potential tax clients to be doing.
What are some questions that people should be asking their tax preparer this year?
Experience. How much experience do you have? Are you just, and you call yourself a tax preparer, are you an EA? Are you a CPA? Do you have a P10? P10 is like the lowest. It's just a number that you get from the IRS saying that they did like a background and to see if you can actually file taxes. So, and then my information or another tax preparer information will be on the bottom of the tax information. So if you get audited or if it's another issue, your tax preparer will be right there on the side of you. It's like having a lawyer. You pay your lawyer to do something for you. They keep you in tune what's going on. But if something happened, y'all come up with a plan and figure out how to bring it back to the judge. Just the same way with taxes.
All right. You said you also do bookkeeping. What are some good softwares out there, for people to keep up with, what they making, what they spending?
QuickBooks and Wave are great apps because it's basically like it tells you how to do things. It's like tutorials. They can show you how to actually keep record of your bookkeeping, because the IRS is really, in the next couple of years, they're really slamming down on things. They even change into if you can claim head of household or not, depending on how much income you make. That used to be not a big thing, or about who kids you filing. You might be claiming your niece and nephew. They want all this proof. That's just in case of an audit, but who wants to go digging for things and finding things? You should already have it. So then you know if your business is profitable or not. And where's your money going and how you spending it, so you could be more understanding of your own business, because I feel that gives you room to grow.
What was some of the roadblocks you had to overcome with running your own personal business?
The main thing is consistency. I was not very consistent at first. I was just taking taxes and everything, and a buddy of mine that I was doing taxes with that actually was teaching me a little bit more, and I worked underneath her. She's actually have a master's degree in business also. She was like, Aisha, you taking it as a hobby. I wasn't doing a lot of advertisement, but I wanted all these clients. You have to work for what you want. I wasn't taking on any extra classes at first. So it's just, in your field, I feel you should do more advertising, more learning, more understanding of it, because it's any business, it's a large pie. And I was just getting a piece of the pie.
All right. Has that, like, moving forward, was that like the eye opener to the point where you said, I can do more and I am going to do more? Because like you say, you do bookkeeping, tax preparing, all of these different things.
I'm just adding on more because that's what I think of my perspective of a financial consultant. I need to be able to do a lot of different things with financials. I need to do notary in order to stamp my client's credit repairings and send that out. Or notary to just have things on file. Like if another one of my clients or if I'm hiring somebody, it can be a contract for contracts and things, because we don't need nobody, your word against mine. No, we have a clear understanding. We can sit down and we have a consultant and we know exactly what we're going into. And even if you don't understand, it's my job to let you understand.
All right, that's my favorite question right here.
Your favorite, okay.
That's my favorite one. If you can go back and give your younger self any advice, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a lot.
Hey, we got time.
If I can go back, man, I would do things a lot differently, and I tell my kids, I'm just being 100% honest. The crowd of people that I hung around, to listen more as a child, and just when I thought I was a teenager, I just thought I knew everything. And I still learning every day. So I just think I would did a lot of things differently. But then I kind of contradict myself because everything that you go through, it helps you to grow to be a better person of who you are. Everything I feel is planned in your life. So me hanging with the wrong crowd, it taught me the street level of things. But then when I went to college, I learned the educational thing, and I think that both are needed. So.
All right, this is my last question right here.
Okay.
When people hit the lottery, they usually go broke within, I want to say, like 2 to 3 years. We got professional athletes that don't survive past 5 years after they retire or leave the sport that they played in. So at what year or at what time should somebody look to hire a financial advisor?
There's no right or wrong time. Especially in this day and age, because I see a lot of 15-year-olds that's multimillionaires. I see 19, older, or even 40, 50, 60. It's the generation that we in now is such a broad of who would need it for the finances that they have. I would think it depends on what are you trying to do. What are you trying to do? And I would think it depends on the level of the income. Like I seen the 15-year-old boy that's a multimillionaire. He's 15, So he's 15, so I think that he needs a financial advisor with a multi-million to make him more money, and to invest, buy houses. Or now they have 3D, it's Meta paintings that you can get for like 500 and then be 5,000.
That shit crazy.
Yeah. I know somebody that, one of my clients that had their kid was 13, bought a $500 painting, saved their money on Meta, and it equals 5,000 now.
That's crazy.
So yeah, there's no age to a financial advisor. It just depends on where you're trying to go and what do you want for yourself.
That's a crazy flip for a little kid.
Mm-hmm. They have more knowledge in things. I'm starting to see a lot of kids and stuff because the internet is taking over.
Yeah, the information,
social media, stocks, and all those things. Like, I'm 33, so my generation is just have a little bit of computer experience. But the people that's 33 and younger, I think, or even 35 and younger, they have the tools. for the computer experience.
All right, before we get out of here, tell the people how they can get in tune with you, stay in tune with you, find everything you got going on.
Well, it's a couple of ways that you guys can get in tune with me. You can find me on queensconnection.com. You go on my website and book, or you can call my phone number, or you can catch me on the billboard sliding around town one day in the Chicago, Indiana area, Midwest area, or you can call me on my business phone, 773-536-7345.
Hey, facts. They could definitely find you on the billboard.
Right.
Even though you only paid for them couple days, you still on there. So every time I turn it on, you still on there.
You said that people were stopping you asking about me, I got a lot of people that was like, yeah, you was the girl on the billboard.
I appreciate when anybody spends some money with me, so I won't necessarily tell them like, man, I'm still giving you free promo, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, it's just something I do. You know?
Well, I appreciate it. That's what that unity come from.
Yeah. And then you was blowing my line, like, man, you was asking 100 questions, and I appreciated that. Like, I appreciated that because as a young business owner, we had to get used to, talking to people and having answers for questions that they ask. So I appreciate it. Was like you was practicing with me, but you ain't even know it.
Yeah, but that's just me though. When it comes to this financial, or I can't talk to these people, where Aisha at? They're going to call me because I'm asking 1,000,001 questions down to the T, because then I know exactly what I'm going into. That's just me. Yeah. Everybody in my family, I got to call Aisha. Anytime something going on with some business or something, anything, I'll call Aisha. That's just the way it is. Queen's Connection never stopped, really.
Man, it took us a minute to actually get this sit down. But I appreciate you for sliding on me and it's just speaking financial literacy. Because like you say, that's something that's lacked in our community.
Yes,
and that's something that I try to teach my kids. And most of the time, they be like, come on, bro. I don't
they
care
don't
now,
appreciate it, though. My daughter's 17, and I used to tell her and my stepkids and all them, I used to have them at the table, right? This is a funny story. I had them sitting at the table. I had worksheets like I'm a teacher or something. And they all, the older two, my stepson, they like, man, mama with this stuff, and she always want to do this. So the two oldest ones, they doing their own thing now. They think they grown. But when I get them on their own and I talk to them, they be like, everything you taught me, it came to life. I had made some worksheets, and whatever job they wanted, I let them to pick. But then I gave them, okay, what kind of house you want? What kind of car you want? And then when they got down to it, I had one that wanted to be a pilot, one that wanted to be a model, one that my little baby, she's only 9, but I made her do it. She wanted to be working McDonald's flipping burgers, but I made her do it too. That's her little thing. But when it came down to it, they see they didn't have that much money left over. So what we got to do, invest. You pick the path that you want, and I explained that to them so strongly, and I wish that more of our parents would explain that to us. So just keep putting in your kids' head, because they'll understand it when they get older. Be like, this is what daddy was talking about, or this is what mama was talking about. They get tired of hearing me and them always talking like, oh, here they go. But they going to appreciate it, because now when they go out with their friends and stuff and they know how to use credit cards and debit cards and do different things and understand financial literacy, they thankful. And I know it will take them a long way.
They don't got no choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat it in their head. And I just got my daughter, she just turned 15 February 20th. And I got her a debit card last year. And she just be swiping. So I'm like, I got to get her to download the Acorn app and attach that to it. You know what I'm saying?
Tell them about my kids too.
Automatically, you know what I'm saying, invest them little pennies. Because I was doing Acorn, and it's crazy. I'm going to tell this quick story before we get out of here.
That's fine.
I had Acorn, and I had built up Acorn to like $500 just off the change that I was spending.
And you never thought about it. I had about $300 in a little time.
And I took that money and I bought Dogecoin. And this was when it was like, it wasn't even cents. I didn't even understand what it was, but I was using the Robinhood app. And it was I don't know, fractions of a penny, And I invested like 150 of that 500 into Dogecoin. And I looked up one day and it was $3,000.
That's how it be.
I bought both of them cameras right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. And then, it took its dip, but I got up out of there before, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, and it's also something called, wanted to tell you, it's Ace Trader. Everybody talk about Bill Gates and everybody buying up the farms and stuff. Well, you can go on Ace Trader and get an acre of land, and they pay you every year. It's between, you can get a land from 3,000 all the way to 20,000. So you could have took that 3,000, had you a little piece of a land, and within that year, there, even if the crops don't progress what it's supposed to, you can still get money every year, even if it's a drought or whatever. But then within 5 years, if you don't pull your money out, you still get like, I think like a lot of money. I think if I paid like, I was gonna put like 10,000 in, I would have had like 219,000 in 5 years.
Shit.
It's off land, and they have to pay you. The farmers do now off Ace Trader because you own a piece of their land now.
That's crazy.
So they got to pay you the rent for having their property. So it's a lot of different things that people don't know.
Say less. Ace Trader, I'm on that.
All right.
Do my research. I need to own some land. You know what I'm saying? I know the value of that now. But once again, I appreciate you for coming through.
Well, I appreciate you.
No problem. You got anything else you want to say before we leave?
No, just everybody just come see me and we can get this financial thing started.
All right, man. This has been another episode of Conversations with Jay.